Good evening, T-Wows! Mr. Quentin here with what we did in class today. So, let's see here. I know there are people who are anxious to get through their project and get all that stuff done. Remember, it is due tomorrow evening at 11:59. So, if you don't have it done, make sure you get it there, folks. Remember, you can still send me emails and send me messages in Schoology. Let's see here. What we did today, we've got, if we're pretend we're in first period, you, of course, would go to your period, then, of course, quarter one, go to week of October 19th through 23rd, and then go to Thursday, where you will see we do have a simple assignment to do today. We talked briefly, folks, about oil and gas. We've been talking about modification to our environment this week. That's what creates human geography. Remember, we are modifying our environment to suit our needs. We also talked about mining as a big, major way that we do that, and how we mine things like coal. We mine for diamonds, gold ore, iron ore, all that good stuff. Well, something that we technically drill for in some cases, but still under the umbrella of mining, is oil and gas. So we're talking about that. We got a simple assignment here. It's a little concept wheel for you. So I've got everything listed. We're going to look at all these things that we have listed to do for this particular assignment. After viewing both sites attached below, you are going to fill out the concept wheel. Look, there are your attachments right down here at the bottom. Step one, click on what oil and gas does for us and check out the dots in the house. That's this wonderful little guy right here. So this it's completely interactive in as much as all you need to do is literally hover over each little dot. Gives you wonderful little facts about oil, things that oil and gas do for us that help us in our daily lives. So very positive aspects of oil and gas. So I want you to hit all those little dots, take a look at it, and be thinking about that as you come back and look at step two, which is click on how oil and GAD, I made a little typo there. That's supposed to be gas. How oil and gas can be bad for us, and read that article, folks. Here you go. This is about how oil and gas is bad for the environment. Now, this is a really long article. Look at all this stuff. Do I expect you to read this whole thing? No, I do not. Do I expect you to look at these main points next to the pictures? The one, the two, the three, and so on. Yes, I do expect you to look at those. Maybe you might find that point number 3 and point number 5 are worth looking at. And so maybe you might read those two little sections. Sure. And not for nothing, but I got to be honest with you, that does not look like oil. Just saying. It's something that's been coming up in all the classes, so I thought I would share. So you're going to look through this article as well. When you're done, you will then be able to switch over to your document. And the document is right here, folks. It's just a simple little concept wheel, or maybe as you might see it as a concept oval. But yeah, the idea is that it's a little concept wheel. And so you are going to put oil and gas in the center for the topic. So again, you are just going to highlight that and then go ahead and type in oil and gas for your topic. Very simple, right? Oil and gas. Okay. And then next, you're going to take a look here. You are going to add one or more describing words about your topic to each section. So each of these sections, pardon me. Where are we at? There we go. So each of these sections, you're just going to change those out, highlight them. And then maybe you might go ahead and put helps heat our homes. Maybe you might put provides fuel for vehicles. Just simple, at least one word. Maybe you might put plastics, because oil byproducts make lots of plastics and stuff that go in everyday life. Maybe you might put endangers animals. Who knows? It could be anything that it might that you might put. Perhaps maybe you might put Oh, as I go and move everything, perhaps maybe you might put oil spills. Who knows? You're going to just fill that up with things that are reminiscent of what you looked at here and here. And when you're done, you can submit your assignment. If you are a pre-AP GT class, dedicate at least 2 sections of our concept wheel to some industries. I don't expect you to do a whole bunch of research, folks. I just want you to think about some industries, like maybe the oil refining business, the people who make gasoline. Maybe you'll think about those plastics and how we use them on our plastics for our cell phone cases or for our Chromebook cases. Perhaps maybe you'll think about the way that we use oil in other industries. And you're going to think about that stuff, and you're going to use 2 of these sections to talk about those industries and decide whether or not those industries um, are good. You're going to think are good for us. You're going to think in ideas and in terms of, do we need the modifications to our environment that they provide? All right. Finally, please note that while this is a daily work assignment due at 11:59 tonight, it's not for points, but do not make light of this. This is what creates the notes for you to study when I say to refer to your concept wheel. And if your concept wheel simply looks like it did at the beginning, where it said, insert text here, and that's all it says over and over and over again, and then it just says your topic in the middle and it's all empty, that's not exactly helping you, is it? So please make sure that you are doing those things and filling that stuff out. As always, if you have questions, you can send me a note in Schoology or send me an email. I do want to show you a couple other things, though. You'll see that I do have some exemplars for you. Exemplars are basically just really fancy ways a really fancy teachery way of saying a good example to follow, not to copy, but to follow. So you can click on this. You'll notice that it says to make sure you click it twice to make a copy. And this is what it looks like, folks. This is the exemplar copy. So I'm going off of the idea that maybe, even though I told you you could, you did not delete the choice board from your initial project doc that you gave, because that initial project doc is what you're going to submit. So I went ahead and assumed, like for just in this example, that I chose the Venn diagram, the 3 facts and a fib, and the anchor chart. And so you can see it goes in a straight line up and down. And so when it comes down, I added the Venn diagram to my chart. I simply inserted a drawing from my drive and was able to choose anything I wanted to insert. And then it dropped it right there. And then for my 3 facts and a fib, that I just put down on the next page. Folks, this is all it's looking for. Everything here that you see exactly fits the requirements of the 100-point part on the rubric. So for the 3 facts and a fib, you're just going to add your question and answer choices. Make sure you label the correct answer, because this is how we know if you actually got your fact correct, regardless of how it ended up on the quiz, when it gets here. Put your questions. And then, of course, I went ahead and just labeled my fib to make it obvious. And then I recorded my results. So in my example, Evie, Chloe, Libby, Jen, and Jason took the quiz, and I labeled their answers as whether or not they were correct or incorrect. That was how I chose to show the scoring. If you just wanted to put 2 correct, 1 wrong, or maybe if you wanted to put question 1 right, question 2 wrong, you don't have to use correct and incorrect. You could do right and wrong. And you're just recording those results. This is it, folks. Okay, you're allowed to administer that quiz however you want. Google Doc, you can do a Quizzes or a Quizlet, a Google form, Kahoot, anything that you want to do. At this point, by the way, if you're watching the video and you still have not administered your quiz, it's probably going to be too late to find to find any students. So please just find 5 people and administer the quiz so that you can put down your results. And then again, here's the anchor chart. This is a digital version that I did for those who have chosen to do the anchor chart digitally. I again did it in Google Drawings and simply inserted it here. You can see I chose physical geography, and again, 12 characteristics. Features and characteristics are the same thing. You're just providing the examples of it, the images or the drawings if you actually drew something on paper. So I have a mountain, which is a landform, an isthmus, which is a landform, and a delta, a valley. I've got 8 different landforms that I have pictures of. And then I also have um, food, shelter, clothing, and activities. All of these are adaptations. And when we are adapting, that is physical geography. You'll see I even included the fact that you can make an anchor chart on paper and upload a clear picture of it. So if you did yours on paper, just make sure that photo is something I can read. If I can't read it, I don't have a way to grade it. So that's all the project is. I did throw in 2 bonuses. So I have a bonus here that shows how if you click share in your Google Slides, you can copy and paste the link into your choice board doc. You can copy and paste it right in here like I did with this digital picture book, which is another exemplar that you can make a copy of. Folks, here is what it looks like for you. It is my geography picture book. I have an image. I have 10 total images in here. 5 of them are physical geography. And I explain how this is physical geography. I explain that it's a volcano and why and how it's an example of physical geography. I do the same thing here with a delta, with some cotton plants, with shelter and food. I switch gears and do the same thing with mining. With mining and this skyscraper, with this suburban environment, with our laptop and smartphones. Okay. So here's an example of what a picture book could look like, especially if you did a digital one. And then I also included as an additional bonus an exemplar of the depth and complexity chart. So this is what a depth and complexity chart would look like. Again, because that's a Google drawing, you can just insert the drawing. And it shows you here how I did it. You can also see that I have used complete and complex sentences. You can see what the grammar and spelling looks like. Now, do I expect you to have this exact level of complete and complex sentences? Of course not. This is an exemplar. That's why it's just a really fancy way of saying a good example to give you an idea, okay, of what it should look like. No, you may not copy any of this information, but you can certainly use this information to help you and to guide you. If you see, perhaps maybe you see a question up here, if you would like to reword the idea behind the question, that is fine, but you may not copy the question nor any of these answers. So, if you happen to already make a copy of the exemplar and it does not have these bonuses on there, don't worry, folks. I have those 2 bonuses already listed right here, the picture book exemplar and the depth and complexity chart exemplar. So you are able to look at those if you already made a choice board copy so that you don't have to keep making copy after copy after copy. All right. Again, if you have any other questions, send me a note in Schoology, send me an email. Thank you so very much. And I hope y'all have a great evening. Folks, Mr. Quinton is out.